What are we grateful for this cycle, this time? And just pop it into the chat. And so the agenda this morning, I'll just keep an eye over here. The agenda this morning or this afternoon, wherever your timing is to have a little bit of an introduction just now, maybe for 10 minutes, and then we'll go into a transmission. And after that, I will share a bit more about maybe myself, take any questions, and hear from the group as well. All right, so for those who don't know me, I'm Katara. I know that there's a few people here that I don't know. And I want to share why I actually am doing DragonSong. So DragonSong and this workshop, I really hope that you can walk away with a little bit more inner peace, a little bit more clarity, maybe to shift some energy for yourself, maybe just to feel inspired again for whatever reason. I know that these times and these energies can feel very hectic. I know that I'm certainly feeling it in this eclipse portal, or maybe I just like blaming something on the planets and the moon. There's always something going on. So I always feel that, hey, I'm probably not the only person feeling that. And I thought that in sharing it with group, I always feel that the energy can be more potent to help each other to shift things as well. So one of the things I love doing is actually singing for myself. If I'm not feeling in the greatest of moods or I'm feeling a bit down, I go to the shower and I sing. So not with words. So for those who haven't heard me sing, it is, just different sounds and transmissions, but there's something much deeper than just singing. And so yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was thinking about this, I knew that there was some new free offering that I wanted to give or offer, but I didn't know what it was. And then 2 days ago, I just heard the words, it's the dragon song, it's the dragon song. And so many things actually came up because of that. And so the design of this workshop is really simple, because we're so hard on ourselves at times, as light workers, as healers, as practitioners. And if you don't feel like you resonate with those words, I say that being a light worker is anyone who is dedicated to helping each of us and ourselves to live more from the heart, and to be part of this new earth. And I know that there's probably many definitions of what is new earth, I just keep it simple. May we all be able to really live and stand in our hearts and our soul's integrity and be the shining example of that as well. So we're all light workers in a way. So I hope that you walk away feeling a bit more lighter and a bit brighter as well. Okay. So I do many, many things, of which healing, readings, drum making. I've got some drums, so hopefully today, probably that will come into the song part. I do some workshops. I used to teach yoga, many, many things. And in the singing part, I also know that by other names. So when I first started, and this is a funny story, but it was actually in my shamanic training. And in my shamanic training, the teacher was trying to activate us in each of our gifts. And in this particular instance, I was doing some healing work on someone. And then the teacher turns to me and says, Kat, your guides want you to sing. And I just looked at him and I said, what are you talking about? I'm like, I feel no such compulsion to sing anything. And he's like, just open your mouth and sing. And so I was really logical about it. And I asked him, okay, so what kind of singing do you mean? Like, do you mean like mantra singing? Like, because I wasn't really a singer. And other people in the room, had various kinds of toning. It just wasn't really in me at that time. And so we had to actually do a whole healing about it, how I was stifled in my voice and blocked. And it was the fear of actually being heard, fear of judgment as well to make sound, right? And in my culture, it's stay small, stay quiet, all of those things. So we had to do a huge healing session just on being able to allow myself to sing. And so he does this clearing, and I put my hands on the lady. And I swear to you, for the next 10 minutes, I had no idea who I became because the sounds that came out of my mouth, I had never heard before. And everyone else around the room actually just stopped to listen because obviously no one else had heard those sounds before as well. So I guess I'm just sharing that because often, whether it's speaking our truth and our word, and maybe all the way to the extreme of singing it, a lot of us might feel that stifling of not being able to speak our truth. What is our expression in this lifetime? And so I hope that sound can help you to relieve and to also give permission for yourselves to express in all the ways that you share and shine your light. Thank you for those who are sharing about your grateful things. So, why the song? So, I've already shared that I sing to make myself feel better. The second reason that I love using sound transmission is I often have found that no matter what it is that I'm sharing in transmission, there's going to be a million different reflections of that and what message people have received. And in the beginning, I used to actually try that a lot. I would, have an intention, make a transmission. I would send it to my trusted friends and other healers. And I'd be like, what did you get? What did you get? And sure enough, I would get back so many different responses. And so I wondered, okay, am I not actually in that intention, or are people just receiving what they need and what they're resonant with? And so my conclusion is surely that there are so many different frequencies in our respective fields. There are so many different perspectives on if I even sit here and you look at me from this angle or look at me from that angle, you will see something different. And so I perceive that the transmissions are very similar, that you will receive something very different, maybe radically different, completely different than the person that's sitting right next to you. And so I invite you to think of the transmissions and energies that you might feel as opportunities for each of us to receive and feel reflections of ourselves. If we are one, may my dragon see the dragon in you. May the part of me that is my priestess self invoke that in you. May the part that is grieving and shifting that see that also in you and help you move that. So there's going to be many different things. And if you stay around for the share after, I'm sure that everyone is going to reflect something a bit differently. So just keep that in mind as well. I love sound because sound and light are carriers of information that can very easily bypass the mind. Our mind is a very powerful thing, and very often it just gets in the way. And so just receive with the intention. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you what intention you have, and allow the sounds and allow the vibrations and allow yourself to perceive them. That might be in the visuals you get, that might be in the thoughts that come up, that might just be giving your body that moment of peace and sacred time. As we started this, session, I said sometimes we're just really hard on ourselves. Are you actually giving yourself enough self-care time, enough time to actually sit for a moment and reflect, how am I feeling? What am I grateful for? What is it that I need more uplifting with? Okay, so consider that to be some of your sacred time. And lastly, we're just going to be 2 minutes away from starting. Lastly, it's why the dragon song. So I've never called any other workshop a dragon song, and I definitely am into dragons. For those of you who have listened to some of my podcasts, I have one called Awakening Dragons. And for me, it's about helping people to connect to dragons, sure. But if you're not into them, it's connecting to the archetypal energies of dragon then, into the power, into transformation, into the magic. Dragons have been around in our lore, Lore, our fairy tales, our stories, in so many of our civilizations. civilizations and cultures, right? Like they have been here a long time. And yet, maybe as a consciousness, they've also been led away or they have left for a long time. And so the return of dragon energies is so many things, whether you want to just say, I want to reclaim more power for myself, I want to connect to the magical elements and understand personal alchemy, or whether it's really being in your transformation state right now. Be that multidimensional spiritual self that you are, as well as this human self that might be going through some human things, some human struggles. And so, literally, it's the dragon in me is singing to you, and that's why it's called the dragon song. Okay. So, because it is a transmission intended for clearing and clarity, I always like to receive and just hear, or, if you want to type it, just a bit of what's going on for you. So if you want to just put either one word intention of what it is that you're wanting to have insights on, clarity, what is getting you down, what's getting you in a funk. And then the more that, all of me and my guides can be aware of, then that will also be there as I share. And so I'm just going to get ready to do that. So please have a moment to type something in the chat. Devotion. Yes. And so then I can bring all of those energies in as well. If you'd like to sit up, that's perfectly fine. If you'd like to turn off your camera, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing I need to see. I will be feeling into your energy and just seeing what's there and trusting that the guides and dragon will tell me what to say. And so I don't know how long it will be, but probably maybe 20 minutes, clearing resistance, holding more light. Perfect. And all of these topics, like when we come together in group, it can be so powerful because we don't realize that we are actually carrying some of these things within us. All right, so allowing your eyes to close. Nobody else will be coming. All right, we have one more coming in. That will be the last. Star language, yes. So for those who have heard light language before, and there's some of us here that are actually in a light language course together, is the language of our soul. And so for that last person who just joined, if you'd like to pop an intention to the chat, you do that. And just taking a nice long breath in. And on the exhale, I want you to bring that breath all the way into the ground. Intend and bring that energy into the ground. Send your roots there, connect into the Mother Earth. And we're going to have a little beat, a little drum beat. And I do want you to slow your breath. And as if you can hear the earth beating. And your heart lies just on top of Earth, Gaia. In fact, you hadn't ever realized how slow and steady the Earth's vibration, the Earth's support can feel. And just allow that very slow and steady beat. Just slow everything in your system down, like her energy is regulating yours. perhaps you haven't connected to earth in a while. I want you to see, sense, imagine like your feet are on the ground. And what would it feel like if your feet was in the water, in the lakes of Gaia? And what would it feel like if you can perceive that gentle air on your face? And what if now that we go deep inside into our inner landscapes and go right into the belly, into the cauldron, the fire cauldron, and our solar plexus, where our light resides, the fire of our willpower. And today we start in the fire. Come into that fire. And as if you can't trust all of the senses that you have, what is the size of the fire in the belly? Uryashya. What is the intensity of the color? Dim yellow, ranging to orange, maybe a deep, furious red. And as we move into the fire, to allow it to engulf us, let it be for the fires of change, and let it purify. And allow the sounds to permeate and just observe. Weyanturi, Weishanyanso. And like a path clears in the fire to allow you to see yourself stand even more clear. Oriantuanshianto he Orianta he Ta he Ta Onteayansa Ontanso ante Rueanta seya heyanta On sante yansu O yansa away And if your mind wanders, then to focus focus on the drum beat? And what if you totally released all of your expectations, of all of your goals right now, of all of your desires, of all that you think are your frustrations, of all that is unclear? What if they are all just pieces of paper ready to be burned? Gusts of wind just carrying on. Facets and reflections back to you, all just momentary. None will anchor. Wariyatta, Wariyantu, Ansam. It feels very ceremonial, like we are really gathered around the fire. And like we are making offerings of, I offer my dissolution. I offer my feelings of uncertainty. I offer my lack of trust. And in all of these offerings, fire will receive them all with grace. Nothing is judged. Ueyanta sohe, Ueyanta so, So the guides are saying for you to really tap into the body and really feel where this energy resides. If there's something a little bit tense in the body, if you are sitting up, maybe to do some gentle movement. And it's important to not just bring in new energies, but learn how to move old ones out, integrate new energies. Our bodies, our human bodies, can feel very stuck if we do not move. Especially in the lower back. I feel there's quite a few lower back sensations. Stiffness, lots of weight carried on the shoulders. So for those of you who feel that big shrug of the shoulders back, and over the next little bit of this transmission, if you do breath work, I want you to add a gentle breath. And that might be an inhale, and a very long exhale. And with the intention of that exhale, like a dragon's breath, moving where that tension is in the body and exhaling out. And that fire that we have drummed up and allow the feelings and sensations, be aware of the sensations in the body. And everyone is on mute. Even if you do it silently, what if that elongation of breath is like pulling something out of the body? And for this is just the human mind to understand energies around us, energies within us, even if we are just consciousness and really there is no space and time. But for the sake of our bodies and our human mind, we feel it in the body. We feel the tension. Where does your distrust? Where does disappointment? Where does low motivation right now? And these might be for some of you that I'm picking up. Breathe that from the body. And even just observing how comfortable you feel to do that breath work. Uryasheta eyantasa. So just a few more to release. And now expand on the space around you. And what if you are not just in this body, but your consciousness can expand so much more. Project, observe, feel the expanse of your astral body. Move it to the edges of the room. And just notice the feeling, the aura, the energy around the body. And what if you allowed it to reach even further? And just notice how far it wants to go. Ueashia tantu. Uretyashyatuka. Giving yourself permission to be all that you are in this moment, in this time, in this lifetime. Move your awareness outside the body. Okay, and let's tether that into the stars, and just for a moment, imagine, sense, feel like you're throwing a fishing hook way out, casting the line into the stars, and perhaps it anchors into a familiar star, home origin, or just somewhere out there, for we may all be from the stars, and we can all feel guided by their energy. So allowing soul and spirit to connect. And as we reel our cast back in, like we have caught that beautiful star, it is just to weave that energy back into the being. And so as if now every breath will bring that energy back into the body. Uayasha ruantiantan soeantiansa heanta heanta heantaream so. And that might be a golden energy. I see some blue and white. And allow it to fill you up like pouring water in a jug and filling up from the bottom. Fill yourself up. Puruantan saheyantian su. Varianta seantarua. I see this beautiful vortexing and spinning of the energy around you. And then let it vortex down and spin right into the roots where you first connected. And let it ground with all of the intentions that you have set, more embodiment, more alignment. And as if you can sense your own chakras or energy centers and know that they are more aligned, seeing that column of light from sky to earth, from sky to earth. Orientiashi kantuashianta. Vortexing into the ground. Okay, so just some last movements for you. I find that we must really focus on the integration of light and energies as much as we are about being open channels and bringing things in. There was a time that I was bringing in so much light through my qigong practice. I actually didn't realize none of it was actually grounding. It wasn't anchoring. I didn't feel safe enough to hold so much light. So let's say some words and affirmations. May the path of light guide and protect. May my body, my being absorb and integrate the light at the level and the speed in which is optimal for my being. Let that be a slow dispersion, accretion, and just trusting that it will not be too much for you. All right, and for everyone, again, you're all on mute. I want you to seal your practice and your transmission today with your sound, and it can just be one single syllable or a hum if you feel comfortable. We breathe in together. We make one sound. And if it's the same sound that feels good for you, this time I want you to follow the vibration from your head all the way to your toes. Inhale. And last time together, this time I want you to focus on just listening to the sound that you make as you do the tone. Inhale. And pull your energy field back, so don't be so expanded. Breathe in. Field is just a few inches away from the body. Come back into the body. Come back into the body. Come back into the body. And any last movements, sounds, come back into the body. Really beautiful. So as you come back into more presence, if you're feeling like turning your cameras on, I'm going to have an opportunity for you guys to share. I really feel passionate about channeling, but also of sharing, sharing what we individually can receive from the universe. The sharing energies together, I feel it always makes it more potent. We all have gifts and codes and keys for one another. And it is in the coming together of our coming together in circles like this that we can more easily remember the parts of us, whether it is our human struggles or our soul discovery. So I am wanting to start a more regular DragonSong Circle. And I know a lot of people who want to access healing and can't afford it or, they have lots of things going on. For me, being part of different containers, I'm always in some course, I'm always in some container, because it really holds that space as you journey through it, as you have different projects and goals and different transitions in your life. So, my intention of starting DragonSong Circle is to have regular transmissions where we can just receive. Once we're in that group, which I hope to make it in Facebook, just a more intimate place where, hey, I just want to receive. And I know there's tons and tons of groups out there, many that are, hundreds of thousands of members. But a lot of them, for me personally, I feel like I haven't been able to, be in a sacred space or receive something. And so, genuinely, from my heart to yours, if you feel that you've gotten something positive from this, if you want to be journeying in a very, very, yeah, intentional and sacred circle, and easily with our song and expression to help move some energies and hopefully to see some reflections for ourselves. So I'll be sending that through in an email, but I would love to hear how you guys experience that and to hear some of the reflections. I know some of you are very gifted in your own, practices and things as well. So how was that for you? I'm not going to pick on anyone, so please, if you'd like to share, and the sharing is important, it allows us to feel like, oh, we're not the only person that, felt that or received that. So would anyone? Yes, Glenn, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
That was really powerful, clearing.
Mm.
And the energy right now for me is I can just feel like all this expired energy is just kind of moving out, moving out of
Mm.
me. And that's what was going on. Lots of yawns, burps, and lots of just the feeling of release was just so powerful. And there was this quality of sensuality, sort of a tantric gentleness that I
Mm.
could feel. Like it had me like I was just kind of touching the lightest touch on the back of my neck and feeling this kind of relief from it and release. Um,
Mm.
it was very uplifting and it was beautiful. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Did you feel that what you described as that sensual tantric energy, did you feel like that was an invitation for you to lean into something?
Oh,
That's what it feels. It's
ooh,
almost like an introduction to an
yeah.
energy beckoning you towards it. I don't know what, but when you say it, that's what I feel.
That really aligns really well with what's going on with me. I would say, yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but now you say that, it does. There is a compelling note part to it for sure, and maybe it's also a premonition of things to come.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your
yeah,
reflections.
yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, you're all staying on. That means you want to hear each other's. Bobby, I have to ask you to unmute, Bobby.
Yeah. Um, for me, it was more that my whole head was just vibrating. My ears were really, uh, I don't know how to explain it, but when you were singing, I was singing with you. I just was lifted. So that was really lovely to have that freedom and to just feel like I could just have those beautiful sounds come as well. And that was a real release for me. So thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Bobby. Was it you that said you wanted to connect to star language? Did I see
Yeah.
that? Yes, yes,
Yeah.
beautiful. And, Glenn would probably, support me in saying this, when we activate or when we share our soul songs, our light language, we really give that permission and activation in others to do the same.
Okay.
So it's not surprising at all, it's like you hear it, there's something that, that really invites you in, that allows you, that gives you that permission, like, oh, I can do this too.
Yeah, it's been coming in for a couple of months, and I really resonated with the fact that you were saying about asking to ground and to make sure that it wasn't too much, because it's been an intense, as Sammy would know, I've done breath work with Sammy, and it's been an intense couple of months of just huge language and song coming through, almost so intense that I was
Yes.
frightened at first. And now it's like I'm just
Yes.
getting transmission after transmission and going, whoa, what's going on? And just feeling that this physical container isn't able to handle it. So trying to ground, trying to swim, trying to do all that sort of thing, because I'm ready to release it, but I've got this real anxiety about it in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's probably why I don't do breath work. It's too much for me. No, but in all seriousness, I do find breath work very activating. But what I said during the transmission, it's really important we learn all the grounding techniques,
Mm,
which is why I teach qigong as well to light workers, because we have so many multidimensional channels open. It's like it's easy to be out there, but it's
oh,
important that we pull, and literally, right, with alchemy, with the ability of our intention and our mind, to actually ground that, so that all our cells can be informed with the new information, so that we actually know what to do with it.
mm,
Otherwise, it just kind of stays on the peripheral, and it's like it can feel very triggering and not just activating. It becomes too much until we can hold all of that light, hold all of that information.
yeah, I hear them. I hear you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Beautiful. Well, I can't wait to see you in a drum circle and see,
That'd
what beautiful sounds we can play together.
be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to share? What about you, Sammy? Yeah, go for it.
Hello. Um, that was really beautiful for me. My body right now is just feeling like I feel so light. I've been carrying a lot of heaviness for a little while now, like going through some really deep emotional stuff. That's felt very, very, very heavy. And right now, my body feels like I'm floating away still. Like I can feel the energy moving. My feet just feel like they're just, I don't know, just full of energy. My hands during that as well. Like I just had my hands up and I was just connected to, like I was just connected to the universe basically. Like all this energy was coming in and out of my hands. And yeah, it was just amazing. I was doing some breath work, some of my own breath practices, and like I just had all these sounds coming out of me, all these like vocal sounds, which is different for me because I don't tend to use a lot of toning myself. Like I think it's again, like you said before, Katara, that fear of like being heard and what I sound like and judgment. And but I just had all these weird toning sounds coming out of
Yes.
my voice, which was like, yeah, it felt really good actually. It was just going and going and going and going. And I was like, oh, what is this? Where is this coming from? But yeah, I just feel right now I need to get up and dance. I feel
Yes.
like I need to get up and like move my body and dance and
Yes.
um yeah, use sound. So it was really nice.
Beautiful. I'm delighted. So just a little, side note. So Sammy has bird the drum with me. And I remember when we were on the beach, we were doing a free community circle. So Sammy does the breath work. And I said, okay, do you want to sing? And she's like, no, no. So I'm very pleased that your sounds are activated and yeah, arising. Beautiful. So again, very similar to Bobby. It's really that deep permissioning and activation over time as well, as we come into more expression. And even in the movement, I used to think, oh, that's just embodiment, that's dance. But it's a form of our light language. Like you shouldn't have been looking at me as you're transmitting, but like my hands move, my body moves, and actually that brings in and feels the energy. As I move my hands, it's like I'm reading scrolls, I'm reading the transmission and translating it through this vessel. So that's what you do as well in your spoken word, in your tones, in your sounds, and how we dress and all of that. Like all of it is just an expression of our light. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Katara.
Mark. Hello.
Hi, Kat. Yep, for me, it was more of a grounding that I think I felt. It's been a long, wet, drawn out winter here, and we've gone from drought to like drowning. So last few days I've been outside looking at all the growth and all the things that are not destroyed but disturbed. And so I've been kind of mentally making a list of all the things that I've got to do. And I think the exercise today was just very grounding and very, it made me realize that this is just what's happening and it's all right. And, things will be better. And so, yeah, I thought it was really good. And I also, I've heard you sing before, but today it sounded much different. I mean, I don't know, you've gone through a lot, or maybe you've done a lot of growth, but it sounded very different. So, and that
It
made
is
me,
very different.
yeah. So I was like, wow, that's really something else. I really liked it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. So Mark's in
Yeah.
the US and actually journeyed with me for, I don't know, maybe a year or something. So over a long time, different things. And yes, absolutely. I think we haven't spoken in a while, but it shows you in periods of time how much growth we really can go through and all of our expressions of that. So yes, the sounds are quite different from what I used to know as well. I mean, there's still the songs of comfort, the sounds I'm very comfortable in making, the toning, as I would call it, but using more of the syllables and feeling like it's more spoken, integrating more somatic work as well and breath. Like, it's all of it is necessary. And hopefully, my intention with starting DragonSong Circle, which I will invite all of you, is just to have that time of like, okay, I just need a half hour to receive. And I have felt that in the containers I'm in where they do these kind of transmissions. Sometimes it's like just being able to go back to it and get the second round of the activations and the clearing because the energy is there. It's in that transmission. And as you listen to it again, and I'll send the recording, you'll get another round of it and perceive maybe even different things as you look out for different things. So, yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mark.
Thanks for having this today. I'm really glad I came.
Me too. Anyone else? Jen, Barb, Lucy? I don't know. I'm not familiar with your faces, so I'd love to hear from you. I think is it Jen that you said you had listened to a podcast before?
Yep. Hello, everybody, and thank you, Katara. Yes, I listened to the. I guess he goes by English Mystic, and his name is Kev. And I got connected to that community through Galactic Ashley, and I'm also in the light language program, and for the second time. But I'm off and off camera because I'm receiving, and sometimes I just don't want to be visible. So anyway, so thank you so much for today. And I love your voice, and I can feel the resonance and the beings that are speaking through, and it just feels so aligned, and it's so beautiful and so comforting. And I can just feel the presence. It's wonderful. And so very happy to be here, and thank you for all that you're sharing. It's inspirational, and I'm going through a period of clearing, as I have been, it seems like forever. And
I know, right?
Totally. And there's more light. I mean, I'm running into resistance, and I have been for a period of time around stepping into all that I can offer and share and be. And so the more light that is possible to be held in my physical form and in my energetic field, and the more clear my connection is, and the less resistance I have to being seen and heard and all of those things, the more that I can be present on the planet and contribute to what's happening with the ascension and everything. And so I'm so appreciative of these kind of moments and community connection. So thank you so much. And I think, Kathy, you've been raising your hand, and I was going to wait till you got to speak before. So anyway, I'm complete, and I'll turn it over to whoever's next.
Thank you, Jen. And thanks for those reflections as well. Yeah, as we allow ourselves to step more into our power. You know, yesterday I was actually chatting with Galactic Ashley, and I was asking her, sharing about other things. And then I said, was it you that talked about DragonSong? Because this name's come to me, and I don't know if I'm going to share it in the group. She's like, no, you should share it. You should totally share it. She's like, no one's, copyrighted DragonSong, and just do it. You are a dragon and you sing. It's the DragonSong. So, and actually, as I said, I mean, it is a big moment for me, just because I've never actually stepped out in the public, so to speak, and actually said that. So it feels like, just a moment for myself. Thank you, Jen. Kathy, did you want to go?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay with these headphones? Yep, perfect.
Yes.
That was really good for me, because I moved from that real frustration and overwhelm, and just really frustrated with everything at the moment. Feeling a lot more calm and flowing, and just that kind of energized all over, and I can feel things shifting, which is great. And the breath work was really good too, with that that breathing out and stuff. I really felt a lot of energy moving with that one, and some pent up energy and frustration. Anger and stuff as well, I felt was just moving through. And there was quite a lot for me that was kind of around heart and coming up under the arm and stuff as well. So that was interesting to have that all move through as well. So yeah. And really felt a really strong connection when you throw that fishing line out and connect onto somewhere. Definitely a strong connection there. So that was really lovely too.
Yeah, gorgeous. Thank you. Barb, Elsbeth, do you want to go, or you feel complete?
I'm happy to. I realized that it's a silly thing. You think that I think that sometimes when I can't see properly, it's because the thing isn't clear, because what I'm looking at isn't like defined, or it's more like a separate area to me. But yeah, interestingly, like with a lot of things, I was able to move over into perhaps that is another thing of perspective. Perhaps even perspective is perspective in a way. So I don't know if that really makes sense, but it was really cool for me to realize that that if I feel confused, maybe it's my confusion that's making me feel confused. And another thing I want to say is that it doesn't feel as though I've quite literally seen and heard this before. Like, it doesn't feel like that, but it feels so familiar. And when you speak in a group, Katara, it feels very very familiar and also very real, which is super cool. So thank you for putting the effort in to do that for anybody who shows up. It's amazing. Thank you. And also just a little like personal thing for you all. I when Katara said to go up into the stars, I think a lot about stars and everything, but there's been something that's been sitting with me for a while, and I haven't sort of felt comfortable to I guess accept it and allow myself to like believe in it. But I feel super connected with Regulus, the star. Like, And I've been sort of like, it's always been in my head, but I've just been like, oh, you know, don't worry about that. Like, you're just, you know, who cares about that? But yeah, it was just like so clear, so believable to myself. So that was really cool.
I'm glad. Thank you. And Barb, I saw you had unmuted before, and then we'll close the circle after.
Hey, my computer's being a little wonky, so that was pretty amazing. I had a lot of tension in my back right when you were starting to talk about that, and it really cleared out after. It's like all of this energy moving, visions of flowers and mushrooms. I've had light language since 2021, and I haven't really encountered a lot of people who, you know, are of the same breed as I am. So it's nice to be in the company of others, I guess.
Totally. Well, welcome. Welcome to you, and welcome to all of us who have the opportunity to share our light and all our expression. You know, it may not be in a language, it may be in the way we take care of our families, how we cook, how we show up at work, and how we just show up in a day. Okay, so don't forget that. Just because some people look and feel magical and, you know, run with the dragons, dance with the dragons, you know, you're all so important to hold your spark of light in your unique way. And that's really, really important to remember. And as I say that to you, it's also a reminder to myself. Because sometimes, you know, as practitioners and as healers and our ever impatient desire to be there already in this new way of living in this new earth, sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. So know that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And thank you for this special group that showed up this morning as well. I will close the circle, and may you float around in this light for the rest of the day or evening, but stay grounded. For those who have joined here, yes, I will be sending a tiny email just with the recording if you want to listen to it again, and an invitation to join the DragonSong Circle. And I don't know, I had this very, very cheap, inexpensive number. They're like, the dragon said, it's $11 a month. I'm like, $11? But I do love the number 1 because it's all about initiation. And I don't think it's about making money. It's just about having an exchange and, you know, having a group. If you're into this and you feel like, yeah, I'd love to receive that, you know, once or twice a month. And every time that I do it, it's an opportunity for me to sit in the light as well. So that's my intention. Thank you for receiving me. Thank you for witnessing me. Thank you for being here for one another. And I know that I will see you in all the places that I see you. Wishing you lots of love and light, and we shall see each other again very soon.